What's up, guys? This is Bobby Douglas, and this is another 2020 NBA Draft Prospect full game video breakdown. And today we're going to be taking a look at Louisville forward Jordan Nwora. He's going to be number 33 in the white. And, he really made a name for himself as a knockdown shooter at Louisville. Average shot around, I believe, 39% from three for his career. This season, he cracked the 40% mark. And listen, he averaged 18 points a game and 7.5 rebounds as well. So he had a very productive season, and I'm excited to get into this game. The game I picked out today is against Virginia, where he scores 22 points and has 7 rebounds and 1 steal in 37 minutes of action, and Louisville ultimately wins 80-73. So I'm excited to get into this game, and let's start it right now. And here we go. So he's going to be number 33 in the white, as I mentioned earlier, and he's going to be on the left side of the baseline to start. Let's see what he does here. Very good at shooting off of movement. Really good at getting his shot off in all situations. Good overall cutter, I think, when he's engaged. The issue with him is that he's not always engaged offensively. He has a tendency to somewhat disappear for games, and he won't really attempt to score or really try to get open as much as he probably should, considering how good of a shooter he is. So there's just a lot of inconsistency in his effort and drive, but when he's on, he's a really, really good shooter. And listen, he's not considered to be a great defender, but he does have a nice frame for defending, so there was a little bit of encouragement there. But this is a guy who's had motor concerns his entire career at Louisville. I know he's come off the bench for Louisville at times just because his effort wasn't really there or his defense wasn't there. So there's a lot of things to maybe be worried about with Nwora, especially considering he's already just finished his junior season. But, I do think he has an NBA-ready body, and he's also a very, very good shooter. So I think that's enough for me in this NBA for him to get drafted. I have him as my 48th best prospect, I want to say. So, again, mid to late second round, I think, is where he'll end up going. And here he is going to come off screen. But he was just a bucket getter at Louisville. Let's see what he does here again. Nice jab step. Pretty good handle for 6'8". He's pretty fluid in that regard. Not really a huge playmaker. He was more of just a scorer for Louisville. He averaged around 1.3 assists per game, so obviously not a whole lot to go off of on that end. But I think he has pretty fluid perimeter skills. Right there, that was a pretty aggressive hedge and recover, and I do like the fact that he's hustling and stuff. Maybe not the smartest read, but again, I do like that idea. Good pass, LTV hits it. Really good shot fake, and again, that's an NBA-ready shot. Bang. And so the form, it's a little bit low on the release, but I'm not really super worried about it. And again, you just saw the really fluid step back that he just had. It was an up fake, then a step back, and then back to a three-point shot where he ultimately nailed it. And so again, he just has NBA-ready scoring moves already in his arsenal, so that's why I really like him. For being his size, though, he's not really kind of strong. He looks a little bit doughy in my opinion, but he's obviously not overweight or anything. But he just doesn't really look as lean. Tends to get bodied a little bit by bigger players on the blocks and things like that. He's probably a 3 in the NBA, but I'm not really sure he can defend threes. And right there, you just see another 3 from Nwora. Again, shooting off of movement, just right out of a screen, and he turns and faces, and it's like a perfect release every time. Again, when he's dialed in on offense, he's just a very, very nice shooter. And again, he's really good at, we talk about that shot versatility from the outside. Can shoot off of movement, off of screens, off the dribbles. He can really do it all out there in terms of shooting the basketball. And again, that's his NBA skill, and that's why I think he's ultimately worthy of being drafted. So again, Nwora's on the left wing right now. Louisville's kind of passing it around the arc, and they're just bombing away from 3. I think they've hit 4 already. And so it looks like Nwora is on... I'm not sure who that is. I think that might be Braxton Key. Yeah. And again, you can kind of see he's just kind of slow getting around screens. Not the fastest footwork. He really was kind of exposed on defense. He was I remember him being talked about as a potential first-round pick, and now it's really, I haven't seen anybody list him that high up. And again, it's just his defense and his inconsistency of play really kind of limited his draft stealing, in my opinion. I'll fast forward here. So again, he's on Diakite, and he's basically guarding Braxton Key. Louisville likes to run a lot of matchup zones and things like that as well. So he'll be all over the place at times on defense, but just remember that's part of the system as well. Let's see. Looks like he was going to set a pin down and then pop out, but nothing really happened there. And again, that time he just really laid on the screen, pretty much lost all connection to Braxton Key. And again, he doesn't come out of screens well either. He's he's not disciplined in that regard, doesn't stay low, crosses his feet on defense in that regard, so. They might have had him for a 3 there. And here we go. Let's see. Again, into the shot fake, one dribble step back, and again, I'm telling you, this kid, he can get his shot off pretty much anytime he wants to because he has that really effective shot fake. He has that step back in his arsenal. And so just the shot versatility from the outside is just something that really intrigues me. Overall, and obviously his size. He's 6'7", 225. And so he has just a lot of things to work with in terms of NBA skills and NBA physicality. Again, there's another shot for him. That's how he missed it. That was a little bit of a heat check. But again, you see him getting it off rather quickly. Again, he could get it off the dribble as well. And so we saw players like Steph Curry kind of utilize that a whole lot. I'm not saying Jordan Nwora is in the same stratosphere as Steph Curry. But I'm saying, like the quick transition from dribble to shot, I think Nwora definitely has that. So it does give me a lot of hope for his NBA three-point shot developing. He also has pretty deep range as well. In the ball screen situation, nothing really going on there. So right now he's on Kihei Clark's guarding him. I'd like to see him get the ball here. Let's see. And you see another 3 and almost made that one too. But again, really quick transition, obviously. He's already taken 5 attempts all from the outside. That's the thing. He can get a little bit too three-point happy. But in the NBA, I think he probably is more going to play a Duncan Robinson type role where he's just basically only shooting threes, And so that's kind of the role I see him playing in the NBA. I'm not really asking him to be a 3-level scorer by any means, but as long as you can just come in, hold your own defensively, don't make any spectacular plays, but just hold your own, and then come in, knock down open threes. I mean, that's a roster spot in the NBA today. So, I think that's what Jordan Nwora should be shooting for. Let's see what he does here. Nothing much going on there. It's going to be 3 seconds left. Yeah, Malik Williams is going to have to force that one up. And looks like Kihei got the rebound there. So Nwora's on Key. Again, his arms are pretty much down. He does do a nice job stunting at help, I will say. So at least he looks somewhat engaged on drives towards his side. But overall, I just don't really think he has the defensive chops to really hang in the NBA and be a positive defender on that end. Yeah, I guess it's a combination of the work ethic that he's been noted to have, and then ultimately just the foot speed and lack of overall athleticism as well. We got a media timeout here, so I'll skip ahead. So Nwora got on the release, and he's going to pass it to McMahon, who is just a sniper for Louisville. Got a foul down low. I think that's David Johnson, number 13, who just drew that foul. David Johnson, actually, I think he had a torn labrum earlier this year. So he didn't really get a whole lot of run at the beginning of the season, and he's staying at Louisville another year. But he's being considered as a guy who will be a top 20 prospect in next year's draft. People really like him. Obviously, he had that really good game at Duke. where I think Louisville won, and just David Johnson had an amazing game. And so scouts really, really like him. And next year we're going to see a lot more of him, I think. And so it'll be interesting to see. And again, you saw him right there make a really nice pass to Malik Williams. So Nwora's on Key. Let's see what he does here. Again, Key is probably one of the better matchups for him just because he's not really a ball-dominant type of player. So Nwora doesn't really have to do a whole lot of moving or trying to defend the ball. So it kind of helps him out a little bit, I would say. And we're going to see that pass from Johnson again. That's really, really special. A rare lapse for Mamadi Diakite. Got another foul here. I'll see if I can get ahead of this. So Nwora did a nice job of avoiding those screens and just staying attached to Key. Virginia's going to run a lot of blocker mover, and Key's kind of a screener in this action. Good job. That time he just uses his length right there. The basket was good from Braxton Key, but Jordan Nwora did a nice job just staying in front. His defensive footwork isn't obviously great. A lot of crossing of the feet, but he does have that length where it's kind of hard for me to see him as a total liability defensively. I think if you ask him to guard the right people, maybe ask him to guard maybe a little bit shorter players, I do think he could use that length to his advantage in order to not be a total waste on defense. And again, if you could just really balance that out, it really becomes he really becomes a plus because of his shooting, assuming that holds up in the NBA. And again, at Louisville, he was tasked with being the primary option scoring. Again, averaged 18 points a game. And he had a lot of games, especially games where Louisville lost or was out of it early, that he would kind of just not give up, I want to say, but just kind of remove himself from the game. He wouldn't be nearly as aggressive in terms of looking for a shot. Right there, good job putting it on the floor and a nice finish as well. And he already has 11 points. I think he finishes with 22 in this game. But, so there were a little bit of concerns just with his motor and just his overall, just his motor and whether or not the switch was 100% flipped all the time. So right here, again, that really can't happen. He was sagging off one pass away. He really kind of needs to be up in the grill. Braxton Key, I know he's not really a big shooter, but if he's going to take that shot, maybe they're looking for him to take that. That's another really nice pass from David Johnson. Good job by Norris sprinting back, and now he's on Kihei Clark. Let's see what he does here. Ooh, I wish Kihei Clark would have tried to take him. You got an offensive foul here. Yeah, and there's the finish from Nwora again. Again, just pretty creative around the rim. He has nice touch from all around the floor. I'm not really sure that his gameplay is really suited to be able to be a three-level scorer, as I mentioned earlier. I'm more thinking of him as a three-point shooter coming off of screens and being able to create his own offense from out there, not really as a slashing type. And so I'm not really looking for him to be a three-level scorer. Obviously, I have him as a mid-second round pick, so I'm not expecting a whole lot from him in terms of production right away in the NBA. But I do think he's one of those guys who could come off your bench in the NBA and give you several key baskets. So that's ultimately what I kind of think with Jordan Nwora. I did get to see him play this year. I think he had a pretty good game again. Louisville played at Notre Dame this year, so I was able to watch him play. I came away pretty impressed. And I remember I had heard about Nwora for a while, actually. Oh, let's see if they get this ball. Yeah, no. Ooh, wow. Good job by Nwora just keeping pace with Kihei Clark. Kihei just kind of slowed up himself, but again, Nwora kind of just did his part there. Let's see what he does here. Ooh, we got a foul call and one. Diakite, nice play. That's Stephen Enoch down low. Yeah. We're going to have Virginia ball. And Nwora goes out here for a little bit, so I will skip ahead to 21-21 is when he comes back in. So I'll get to that part in the game. Here we go. So it looks like 6.5 minutes left in this game. Or in this half, I should say. I'd like to get out of the split screen, please. This was probably the Bobby Knight day where we returned to Indiana. Yeah. So here's again looking for something. That's a nice little feed to, I think that's Enoch. I'm in the post. Again, he read the defense pretty well there. And if he could add that little passing ability to his game consistently, you know, we've seen J.J. Redick in New Orleans do really well at just coming off of screens and either having the option to shoot or to pass. And he's a really, really good passer, even though his numbers maybe don't suggest it. But with Nwora, I do think he has that capability of being able to come off screens and then curl off of them, maybe do a pump fake and then hit the roll man or just rise and fire as well. So I do think again, having a really good shooter on the floor really opens up your options offensively, and I think Nwora could be a pretty good shooter in the NBA. So I think, you know, just because I see him as more of a one-dimensional player in terms of what he brings, just by being a good shooter, that opens up a lot of other avenues for him to develop his game. Here's Darius Perry, looks like. So right now, Nwora has Kihei Clark on him. Let's see what he does here. He's going to get the double team sent at him. Looks like, yeah, I don't really like that shot from him. Again, feeding the double team. Again, probably should have looked out for a pass there. And Diakite is going to finish. We're in a pick and pop situation right there. And there's Darius Perry. He's going to miss that. Looks like we got something happened. Let's skip ahead here. So now Nwora is guarding Tomas Waldenatze, I think is his name. And he averaged maybe 6 points a game. Nice job by Nwora right there using his length. I think he's going to, looks like there's going to be a media timeout here. But again, nice job just using his length. Again, kind of baited Waldenatze and taking that pass. And again, just stood up and snagged that. It's a nice play. And again, with his length too, I don't really think he could be a total liability defensively, obviously, because just the size, he does have that advantage with his size. So I do think that's a legit asset in the NBA, and again, his ability to shoot as well. So for as much concerns I have with him on the defensive end, I really do think that his length alone should help him out a little bit. Let's see what he does here. Again, off the dribble, rise and fire. That's an NBA shot right there. And again, really comfortable shooting off balance as well. And again, he's just a flamethrower. But again, Waldenatze today, he's going to have averaged around 6 points a game this season. And in this game, I think he has 27. He just goes crazy from three. So that'll be funny. And then Nwora right there actually did a nice job pressuring the ball. He forced Virginia to take a timeout. So again, this is a game where he's engaged and is playing well, obviously making his shots. He might be one of those guys where if he's not making shots, that impacts his performance on the defensive end as well. We saw that with Anthony Edwards when he started making shots against Michigan State. He became a much better and more engaged defender. I think Nwora might have a similar tendency. He's going to get that rebound right there. It's a nice little play from Malik Williams. And this game ends up being really tight late as well. So Nwora a little bit late to get up on Braxton Key, but he did a nice job recovering and staying in front, making Key give up the ball. Jeez, they are just lighting Virginia up from three. 43 points. Virginia's given up less than 43 points in a game several times than they haven't. And now they're giving up, oh, that was a 42 points still. Again, right there you see the lack of defensive burst. Again, off balance on the closeout. His feet kind of got glued to the floor a little bit, and I think it was Braxton Key who drove the lane and got by him rather easily. Nwora with a pretty nice cut there. Good job coming out on the Kihei Clark right there. Yeah, that was a really nice play. That shows his awareness. Or not his awareness necessarily. It's not consistent, but right there he kind of got shook by Diakite on the drive. But I did like that the awareness that he did show right there. Kind of just being engaged immediately off that. I think there was a flare screen that freed up Kihei Clark, and Nwora was right there to help out and show. And then he ultimately got back to Diakite, where he didn't really make the best one-on-one play, but I do just like that effort right there. So he does here. Again, that's a tough step back too over one of the best defenders one-on-one in college basketball. That's just a really, really special play from Nwora right there. Obviously, you see 6 of 9 from the floor, so he's he's shooting well, he's engaged, crowd's loving it. And again, that's a really tough long two, but late in the shot clock, that's extremely valuable to have guys who can just shoot off the dribble and get off a quick release and then find the bottom of the net with consistency. Nwora is going to be that guy for our team. There's Jay Huff just being Jay Huff. Yeah, right here. That's probably that's gonna end the half. So I'll pause it right here. I hope you guys enjoyed this video. Nwora had a pretty nice first half. I think he had 15 points in that half, right? So yeah, I hope you guys enjoyed it. I hope you guys learned something in this video. If you enjoyed it and if you learned something, please like the video and subscribe to this channel if you enjoyed the content. That really helps me out. And I don't think I got anything else to say. So we'll see you for the second half of this game, where we will continue to watch Jordan Nwora and Louisville Cardinals take on Virginia. Thanks.